This is Tennessee Talks with United States Congressman Tim Burchett.
Hello, I'm Congressman Tim Burchett, and welcome back to another episode of Tennessee Talks. Today I'm joined by my very good friend, Congressman Byron Donalds, who represents Florida's 19th Congressional District. Byron graduated Florida State University with a degree in finance, or finance as we say in East Tennessee, and marketing, and had a great career in banking, finance, and the insurance industry. I was an insurance agent myself. He served in the Florida State Legislature in 2016 for 4 years before coming to the U.S. House of Representatives in 2021. Byron, Congressman, thank you for joining me here today, brother.
It's my pleasure to be here.
All right. Tell us a little bit about your story with your experience from a kid growing up in Brooklyn with a single mama to representing the state of Florida in the U.S. House.
Man, actually thinking back on it, it's a little crazy. Like, I grew up like most people, just poor, inner city. My mom, for her, education was everything. So she wanted me to make sure that I was doing well in school. She didn't want me to cut corners. She wanted me to be focused, disciplined. Everything a good mother tells.
Good mama.
Tells her son. And I listened enough, I guess, as you could say. So when I graduated high school, I went to college in Tallahassee. Went to Florida State and got my degree in finance. Like in New York, we say finance too. So it's a thing.
Right
we say
on.
it that way too. But after college, I moved to Southwest Florida, moved to Naples, got married, started having kids, and really was just living life. In my career, doing all that stuff, raising my kids, being a husband. Never thought about politics. Like, I was apolitical my entire life. So even now today, I still have friends of mine from high school. They're like, "How is it that you're doing this?" I'd never talked about news. I'd never talked about politics. But during my career, I got passionate about it because of the financial collapse in 2008. Got into politics. Actually ran for Congress in 2012. Lost. Best thing that ever happened to me because, especially now, I wasn't ready.
Right.
I'm actually happy that I lost. It was a good thing. And then served in the legislature 4 years, like you said. And when this race came open again, I was actually going to pass. I was going to go back to the private sector, just finish raising my kids and enjoy life. People really asked me to run, and I got in the race. And
They did. I can remember in the meetings, and they'd go over, everybody. I don't know if you're a young gun or not and all that, but I wasn't. But I can remember after being elected, I'd go to the meetings and they'd talk about people that they were recruiting and how they were hoping that you would get back into it and that you knew how to do it, and that you were a House member. I spent 4 years in the Tennessee State House, then 12 years in the Senate. But a couple of weeks ago, during the vote for Speaker, you were at the center of the deal, the tip of the spear, when you were nominated for Speaker. I was actually in those so-called double secret meetings, and when they were doing that, and I was watching your emotion going from look, I got a family, and that was your concern. I think you might have walked out and called your wife. I'm not sure, and just walk us through that. What your emotions were during that, because it was intense. It was intense.
I mean, first I was all over the place anyway. Not all over the place. I knew the decisions I made about why I was casting my votes in that race. When that came up, it was really about the gravity of the situation, because until your name is on the board, you don't really understand the real weight of it.
Teddy Roosevelt, the man in the arena,
that's
brother.
Right.
That's the bottom line. You can sit on the sidelines all you want, but until your butt's in the ring, man, it's intense.
You're right. When your name is up there, my first thought was my kids, because this, Burchett.
Yep.
This deal in politics moves fast in a hurry, depending on different things that shake out, and so it's tough enough in this job not seeing my younger sons. Being Speaker of the House means I would hardly ever see him.
Nah, you'd never see
him.
And
that weighed on me. That was a lot mentally. Then I was thinking about my wife. How would she think? Then I was just thinking about the totality of the situation. Because, for me, it wasn't just about being Speaker. It's like, what does that all mean? What does it all carry? Do you want to step into that world? Are you prepared to lead in that way?
Yeah.
So, when I really prayed about it, talked to my wife about it, just kind of got to a good place, agreed to do it. And then it was about, okay, how does this story end? Because this has to come to an end at some point.
Right.
So
and I thought too, you handled it really well. You took some attacks. I thought racial. I guess I can say racial, but it was another a black member, a female Democrat, who I thought, to me, that kind of stuff sickens me, dude. And I'll be honest with you, because I have friends that happen to be black that are very successful, and they get the same spears thrown at them, the as we say, and it just to me it was just it really showed the ugly underbelly of what this garbage is all about. And you and I have had those one-on-one conversations before, and I hope that in my own redneck way, I've encouraged you.
Hey, you've been good, my friend. You've been good.
All right, brother. Hey, we both serve on the House Oversight Committee. I know you're going to be first and foremost out front on that. What would your number one goal in that committee would be?
Really, to hold the administration accountable. I mean, I think we've seen, especially the last 4 to 6 years, where from the Democrats it's been about just getting Trump. And no matter what the situation is, the target's been Trump. I don't want to do that.
He was out of office for 2 years. Dadgummit. Give it a rest.
Listen, but
move
again,
on. You can't. Yeah.
But again, they just haven't. And so what I want it to be about is what's actually happening in the agencies, the oversight that must occur. If there are things that the president is a part of that have to be brought to the light, then let's bring that to the light as well. But let the evidence speak for itself. Let the investigation speak for themselves. You don't have to puff this stuff up if you really have something. Once it's sitting there, people will decipher for themselves what they want to take out of it. What I just want to make sure is that we do a good job. But as a Congress, this Congress, I just don't want to be an investigative Congress. Like, I want to be a legislative Congress. You have a ton of ideas. I do. We got colleagues all through this place who have 10 ideas each about ways to make the country better. We got to take this time period to debate that legislation, pass that legislation, at least tee it up for the future political battles that the country's going to face. I think if we do both of those things, it'll be successful.
I agree. You've been targeted, I feel, because of your conservative views, and you're a black man. And I wonder, and two, my notes say a black man, but people get targeted for being conservative. Like on a college campus, white kids, whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And I wonder. Yeah, I know we got a roll here. They're giving me the thing, but we're gonna finish this thought.
You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, brother. How would you tell other conservatives out there, that closeted conservatives more or less, because they're afraid to come out? What would you tell them to encourage them?
Don't be afraid. If everybody feels that they can be silenced, that's what they want. But every person that stands up and just takes the heat for their thoughts, it makes it less hot for the next person. So for me personally, I don't have a problem taking the arrows, because I understand what really matters is that there's a ton of kids out there who are watching me, and if they see me stand strong, it gives them the courage to stand strong.
He looks like me. That's what they say.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
So I just want.
And I don't mean that just in a black or white thing. Yeah. Because the younger kids today are more colorblind than they were in my growing up.
They're very colorblind right now. So if they see that coming from us, it gives them the courage to be like, no, I saw Tim Burchett say it, and I'm going to say it. Even though, they could be a country kid from Tennessee. Or I saw Byron say it, and they're a black kid from Florida or from New York, because I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Right on. That's okay. After the speaker's stuff was done, I was walking on the street right here outside of Longworth. Black guy walked up to me on the street, and I was just in regular clothes. And he was asking me, he's like, "Are you Byron Donalds?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, I'm a young guy, 25. I have my own business." He was like, "But I watched what you were doing. That was really impressive. It made me think about some things." If we can accomplish that, all of this is worth it.
100%, 100%. One last thing before we get to the final question. What do you think we can do in Congress to look after hardworking mamas, hardworking folks like your mama and single moms that are out there that watch this thing?
Ooh, the biggest one, I think, energy policy. What's hurting so many families is the cost of electricity, the cost of propane, the cost of that.
Heating, that essential thing that you got to do.
You got to heat your home, cool your home. Man, I remember growing up, my mama would be like, boy, turn that light off. You're not paying the light bill. Have you seen this light bill? I think that's the number one thing. Energy feeds into everything.
I didn't have central heat and air growing up. We had a ceiling fan. And if you weren't out of bed by 8:30 in the morning in the summer in East Tennessee, you were stuck to the sheets because you sweat. I mean, man, it was just the way it was. We had a window unit downstairs, and when it would turn on, the whole house would shake. Okay, One last question. Okay. You get to ask me anything you want. Anything you want.
Anything?
Yeah, but if I don't want to answer it, we'll just edit it out. But go ahead.
My only question is, I've really only known you with the beard. I need to see the Tim Burchett without the beard. What do y'all think about that? That's what I need to see.
We're doing a poll. Oh,
yeah?
We're going to do a poll on Twitter, and we're going to see, and I might just acquiesce, because I got into a fight with my wife over this thing, and she won. She wanted me to grow the beard. And so,
Oh, well, never mind. Do what your wife tells you. Just do what your wife tells you.
Words of wisdom. All right. Well, I got to get you out of here, Byron. I told your folks I'd get you out, but it's been great having you here, brother, and it's always a pleasure. You're my friend. The Sunshine State's lucky to have a guy like you in their delegation. I look forward to. You have the beach in your issue?
I sure do.
Well, I need to come down.
The best in the world. Naples, Fort Myers, Marco Island.
Seriously?
Although Fort Myers will rebuilding after the hurricane.
Right on.
But Naples and Marco Island is back.
So my girls love the water, so maybe we'll come down and visit. Just official business.
Of course. Official.
Yeah. All right. Hey, y'all. I'm Congressman Tim Burchett. I want to thank everybody for viewing another episode of our Tennessee Talks. Thank my dear friend Byron Donalds for coming in with me. And again, thank y'all for sending me here.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Tennessee Talks. Please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Keep up with Congressman Burchett by following Rep. Tim Burchett on Twitter and Instagram, and Congressman Tim Burchett on Facebook and YouTube.